undoubtedly the most iconic dinosaur of all time, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Also known as the Tyrant Lizard King, is known across the planet as the most terrifying animal on planet Earth, with the strongest bite of any terrestrial organism with a force of 35,000 newtons, which is enough to crush a car. With 60 sharp conical teeth that can grow to a size of 12 inches, it's no surprise that this thing has left a lasting impression on the imaginations of those that lay their eyes on it. As one of the earliest dinosaurs discovered, it's tantalized audiences ever since its first film appearance with The Ghost of Slumber Mountain, a short film directed by special effects pioneer Willis O'Brien. And whilst this looks crude to us now, just imagine what audiences in 1918 thought of it. This would have been like nothing seen before. Then appearing in Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World in 1925, and then the big one in 1933, King Kong, where it scraps with the big ape. It's easy to see how people fell in love with this gigantic beast. It reached new heights of popularity in 1993. Bigger, meaner, and more realistic than ever before. This showed the Tyrant Lizard King at its very best. Jurassic Park revolutionized how we should look at Tyrannosaurus. Not upward standing like a kangaroo, but instead leaning forward more like a bird. Outside of the exaggerated size, this was the most realistic depiction of the Rex to date. But since then, things have changed. We've had research telling us the T-Rex was actually a scavenger, which is still up for debate, or that it was actually incredibly slow, reaching a max speed of 16 kilometers per hour, and that it would actually die if it fell over, crushed by its own weight, putting into question whether this thing deserved the title of Tyrant King. But new research has come out that not only reminds us why this thing was loved and feared, but how it may actually be more terrifying than we originally thought. A study conducted by Dr. Mallon and Dr. David Hone of Queen Mary University in London used a computer modeling software to assess the population for T-Rex based on living alligators, chosen for their large size and close relation to dinosaurs. Taking into consideration factors such as population size, growth rate, lifespan, and the incompleteness of fossil records, researchers said their findings suggest there may have been larger dinosaurs out there that have yet to be discovered. A study published in the Journal of Science estimated that each generation of Tyrannosaur consisted of 20,000 individuals, and that there were 125,000 generations in the 2.5 million years they existed, which means that between the years of 68 to 65.5 million years ago, an estimated 1.7 to 2.5 billion T-Rex individuals roamed the planet. And how many of those have we discovered fossilized remains of? 42. Only 42 out of 2.5 billion. That's the equivalent of taking a quarter of Earth's human population, then taking 42 of them and saying the largest of that group is how big they could all get. It's said the largest known T-Rex fossils probably fall in the 99th percentile, representing the top 1% of body size, and that bigger could still be found. Dr. Hone stated, "Some isolated bones and pieces certainly hint at still larger individuals than for which we currently have skeletons. So maybe the T-Rex of world isn't as far-fetched as we originally thought. But just how big could this thing get? Currently, the biggest Rex is Scotty, who's estimated to weigh 8.8 tons with a length of 13.11 meters, already above the current average of 12 meters. However, the research suggests that the Tyrannosaurus Rex was a whopping 70% heavier, weighing roughly 15 tons compared to the 8.8 it currently is. And not only this, but it's estimated to be 25% longer at 15 meters instead of the current 12, and standing almost 5 meters tall. That's nearly as tall as a giraffe, even larger than the 13.5 meter Rexy that we saw in the Jurassic films. This puts into question everything we've learned about this creature up to this point. How did this thing move? How did it hunt? Or support its own weight? 15 tons on only 2 legs is no small feat. With the increase of mass and muscle size, it can also be correlated to an increase in bite force, meaning this bone crusher, feared across the world, could have had an even stronger bite than previously thought. Dr. Mallon says, "It's fun to think about a 15-ton T-Rex, but the implications are also interesting from a biomechanical or ecological standpoint. With this research, what we're presented with is a tank of a species that had the potential to grow even larger and more terrifying than what we saw in the Jurassic Park films. But it's worth remembering that this study speculates the anomalies, the ones that stand out from the average, like the random lions that are discovered every now and again that are 150 pounds heavier than the rest. But that's not the only revelation, for the Rex isn't the only dinosaur in which this science is applied. This study applies to literally every dinosaur. Think about how large the Patagotitan is, the biggest dinosaur that scientists have literally ever discovered, weighing 57 tons with a length of an insane 37.5 meters. Could this thing get even bigger? The possibilities are endless and unfathomably terrifying. Like the uncharted waters of the ocean, we may never know the real extent of the truth, and we may never know how big these animals could get. Researchers think that they would have to excavate fossils at the current rate for another 1,000 years to ever find an animal in that top 99.99% of body size. But for now, this research gives us a glimpse into just how imposing the prehistoric era really was. Thanks, residents, for joining us for today's science video. This stuff has always fascinated me for as long as I can remember, to the point where I'd be called the dinosaur kid at school. So it means a lot that you'd help support my dream of talking about these incredible creatures as a career. If you want more dino science videos, then give this video a thumbs up, share it around, and subscribe, and chomp the notification button to be notified when new dino videos go live. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you, residents, in the next one.